Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to today's coffee chat. Mm. Well, today, I have to say that my excitement is just bubbling over because today, right before I sat down to film, I popped over to my post office box because I've been checking and checking and checking, and my cookbooks still haven't been arriving. They've been lost, and it's like there's been this worse torture because it's like I haven't even seen my cookbook in my own hands. And it's today I'm filming, it's Tuesday, so it's literally 1 week before they launch, and I haven't even seen it in person. So it's been like this torture of not being able to get my hands on it. Where the heck have it been? And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go by my post office box, just slip in and out before I sit down to film with you today. And guess what? They're finally arrived. I'm so excited. I'm gonna share with you. Woo! There we go. I'm so excited. My cookbook has arrived. I get to see it and hold it in my own little hands. Oh my goodness. It's such a crazy feeling to have seen it just imagined and all the stages of writing it, starting from a Word document, and now it's for real in my hands. So, of course, what I have on my mind today is sugar. So, sugar is on my mind. It's the topic of my cookbook, and so, of course, it's on my mind today. And to tell the truth, it's what I was planning to chat about with you anyways, because it has been on my mind with Halloween happening just recently as well. It's just, I'm having these conversations with practically every single client all week long these past few weeks. So I knew it was what I wanted to talk with you about today, about sugar and how many of us are eating far too much. There's a lot of focus on sugar these days. And so I wanted to kind of differentiate and get down to, how do I say, finding the source of a lot of the hidden sugar that is in our diets. So, I've been doing nutrition for a long, long time, 24 years of nutrition experience. And so I've seen a lot of foci come and go, a lot of trends come and go. And every time there is a trend, there's good stuff that comes and some negative stuff too. And so sugar really is not any different than other things I've seen in the past. Sugar is, yeah, eating too much sugar definitely has negative effects on our bodies. All sorts of effects. Negative effects on our energy levels and our ability to produce insulin as a response to those blood sugar spikes and crashes, and they cause more fat storage, so not a great from that point of view. Awful energies, that you have this energy rush and then this awful crash. I mean, that's not good for us just living how to feel in the day. Negative effects on our reward centers and our cravings and feeling out of control with cravings. Sugar is also an inflammatory agent in our bodies, so contributing to a lot of chronic inflammation. All sorts of negative effects that eating too much sugar has on our bodies. And yeah, most North Americans eat too much sugar. And so I think it's great that there's been this focus on the negative effects of sugar, and we need to be eating less. What I find is that often we know of sugar, right? Like, if you're eating a cookie, if you're having a piece of chocolate cake, okay, there's sugar happening there. But there's a lot of other sugar that happens in our eating habits, what I call hidden sugar, sugar that we don't realize we're having. And that's what I really take offense to or take notice of, or things that we're thinking we're choosing healthy choices. They have what we in the industry call the health halo. They seem very angelic and healthy choices, but there's actually a lot of sugar hiding in there. And here's the thing, if you're eating a lot of healthy eating doesn't require absolutely not a single grain of sugar crossing our lips. I'm a fan of being able to include some foods that we eat just for pleasure. However, if we're eating a lot of hidden sugar, then we don't have the room to enjoy those treats. It's sending us over to what is unhealthy. So my philosophy is to remove the hidden sugars from our diets. so that we have room for the occasional chocolate, the occasional cookie, those things that we have pleasure. We enjoy the full pleasure of them, but they're an occasional treat. So where is the sugar hiding in our diets? It's in a lot of different things, but what I wanted to share with you are like the 5, 6 most common places that I find that, not the most common places, but foods that people are eating the most commonly that's contributing to the most amount of hidden sugar in their diets. And these are things that are particularly marketed as healthy choices. So the number one that I see are fruit and vanilla flavored yogurts. So yogurts, I mean, it's overwhelming. You go into the grocery store and there's an entire wall of yogurt and it's like, what the heck do I choose? And it's like, oh, yogurt and fruit or yogurt and vanilla. It sounds healthy, right? However, what they call fruit and vanilla, not a lot of real fruit there. And it's not a lot of actual vanilla bean happening in most yogurts on the market. Mostly it's jam essentially that's in there, which if you've ever made jam, you know that it is not counting as a fruit. It is a lot of sugar. And so so what I find is often people who are looking to make healthy choices, they're like, oh, well, I choose the 0%, no fat yogurt. Like that's okay, but then they're choosing with a lot of sugar. And so what I would recommend instead is having plain yogurt with a little bit of fat in there. A little bit of fat is not a bad thing. It'll keep you full longer. It'll keep that blood sugar more steady. And the fat gives it more flavor so that you don't need to be adding so much sugar to taste good. If you're finding that switching from an innocent sounding vanilla yogurt or a fruit yogurt to a plain one seems like too big of a leap, what I recommend is getting a plain yogurt and maybe adding a little bit of fruit, maybe adding a little bit of honey or maple syrup yourself so that you can control how much you're adding. And then over time, you can be decreasing how much you add so that you're eventually arriving at plain yogurt. But you're kind of giving yourself the opportunity to slowly get there. So that's the yogurt, the fruit or vanilla flavored yogurts are definitely a place where there's a lot of hidden sugar that I find. Another place that I find a lot of hidden sugar are in breakfast cereals. If you're buying, a super sugary, junky one, I'm not going to name any specific names, but there's some that are very obviously they're fluorescent colors. Those are going to be sugary cereals. But there's a lot of other ones that sound healthy and are marketed as healthy choices, but there's still a lot of sugar in there. So I always recommend turning over the boxes and looking for the lowest sugar possible on those boxes. So for example, a lot of granolas too. I'm counting granolas in there. I'm counting the instant oatmeal packages that sound like, oh, apple and cinnamon. Well, that sounds healthy and delicious. No, it's mostly sugar, a couple little bits of dried apple, a little dash of cinnamon. So what I'd recommend is making your own oatmeal or making your own granola. Again, being able to control how much maybe maple syrup or honey you add at first and then start backing that off to get towards plain, like no sugar added. And when you're buying more of like a cold breakfast cereal, turning over those boxes looking for the least sugar added ones. For example, a lot of them just from the front sound healthy, something like, a multigrain ringed oat cereal, for example, has quite a lot of sugar in there, where their plain old regular one actually is quite low sugar. So it's a little tricky navigating that cereal aisle. So cereals are definitely a place where I see a lot of added sugar. Another kind of on our breakfasty theme of another place where I see a lot of added sugar are in breads. A lot of the breads you buy at the grocery store have added sugar in them. Again, they sound great, like, oh, multigrain, 100% whole wheat, sounding good, but when you flip it over, you see sugar in that ingredient list. So it will take a little bit of turning over the loaves of bread to find one without added sugar in there on the ingredient list. That's a third place. So we've got yogurts, breakfast cereals, breads. Again, kind of continuing on maybe the breakfast theme, it seems that a lot of the foods are in what often people are eating in the morning are the coffee drinks. So sugary drinks, really not a great idea, because not only are you drinking that sugar, but you're not even getting any fullness from that. So you're still going to eat a lot of food as well. So we all know, okay, pops, not a good idea. Sugary drink, we stay away from those. But a lot of those like vanilla or pumpkin spice lattes that sound so innocent, there is so much sugar added in there. It's insane how many like those pumps. If they're pumping to put something in your coffee, not a good idea. So what I would recommend is getting a plain latte, adding a couple of spoons of sugar yourself to it. Because you're not going to be putting in like 10, 12, 15, like that kind of level is what we're talking about, are in those pump-based coffee drinks. So instead, get a plain one, add a little bit of sugar yourself. It's still going to be way less. And again, you can slowly decrease how much sugar you're adding until you get to having your coffee plain or black. Coffee is another one. Where else do I see? Oh, granola bars, power bars, those sorts of healthy bars. Whoa, they can contain a ton of sugar. And again, even within the same brand, different flavors can have a lot of different range, a wide range of different amounts of sugar in there. So again, it's turning over the boxes, looking for the ingredient list and how much sugar, and in the nutrition facts panel, looking for the least amount of sugar that you can find. I've doing some darn good hunting. I have found some that have sugar at around like the 5-6 gram mark. So that's a good one to be looking for, kind of aiming to get that low. But again, turning them over, what ones you have in your grocery store, and looking for the lowest. If you're, again, looking for a different alternative, making something at home is going to be your best bet. A homemade Power Sphere, a homemade granola bar type of thing, because then again, you can be controlling how much added sugar that you're adding in that recipe. And then last one, because I do work with a lot of families with kiddos, is that there's a particular, again, not to mention any brands, but a particular hazelnut chocolate spread that is marketed as having like, oh, hazelnut, skim milk, sounds pretty healthy, right? Yeah, they fail to mention the gigantic amount of sugar that is in that product. So definitely not the greatest choice. As a healthy choice, if you're wanting to have it as a treat, recognize it as that. But it is not the same as adding like an almond butter or a no sugar added peanut butter to a sandwich or to a piece of toast in the morning. So those are the 6 most common places that the 6 biggest contributors to like hidden sugar within things that are foods that are marketed as being healthy that I find in the clients that I'm working with. I hope that's shed a little light for yourself of places where sugar might be hiding in your family's eating habits or your personal eating habits. If you like today's video, let me know, share a thumbs up. I do come and join you for a casual chat over a cup of coffee every Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time where I post. So I want you to know that you're always invited. And so the best way to do that is to click the subscribe button below and the little notification bell so that you always know when I post a new video. Have a great week, and I will see you back here next Thursday morning.